Well, hello. So completely impromptu little video here. I realized that I've been kind of MIA for the last month. Reason being a lot of preparation for a lot of things that are happening in and around La Rochelle Bible journaling, La Rochelle crafts, all of those goodies. So firstly, obviously we had Hobby X this past weekend and it was fantastic. This weekend I'm kind of recuperating and preparing for the very first La Rochelle crafts journaling weekend away at Cullinan. Stay tuned for when we book our next tickets or our next weekend after this one, but this one is full, so there's that. I did want to come in and show you just a few of the new products that have been released by Faber-Castell, and amongst others I think maybe let's start with this guy. So this is in the red range of Faber-Castell. It is the brand new black edition pencils. These are a black wood pencil and they have a super bond lead, which means that the lead won't break as easily as it would with other pencils when you drop them, etc, etc. What also makes them really fun is the fact that they not only work on white paper, but they do have a very beautiful effect on black paper. And so these are a black superwood, like I mentioned. They are a soft lead, that's the word I'm looking for, just looking for some white paper, soft lead pencil. So what I mean by that is I really don't have to color very hard or intensely to get a fantastic color payoff. So pigmented wise, you can see it is just a stunning blend. So I'm super excited about these. I'm really going to be using them more than what I can even imagine right now, because I need to learn how to color. So yes, very soft, really no intense pressure to get that payoff. So that makes me very happy. They come in sets of 12, 24 and 36, all in this very funky new black edition tin that's kind of got an embossed detail. It's just stunning. So one of my new favorites. They also have the brand new kind of pastel fine grip or grip fine pen. These are a 0.4 in a pastel color, so always love that. These are fantastic for your bullet journaling. If you are a bullet journaler, obviously they have the very thin kind of nib. So let's test them out. Stunning pastel colors, really pretty. I never know what to say while I'm actually like busy doing the actual stuff. So maybe you can drop me a note if you need me to be talking while I swatch colors or whatever. It's kind of why I despise doing lives, because I kind of run out of things to say. So there's that. So obviously, like I mentioned, really pretty pastel colors. They do have some new sets in the Pit Artist pens as well. And this specific one is a writing range. Again, with the Pit Artist pens, remember that these are India ink. So it is permanent, light fast, waterproof. And then these come in 8 different nibs in the specific set, of which the new ones are the Feud and the 0.05. So previously we had the XS, which was the 0.1. This is the 0.05, which means that it's even finer. Like, you can hardly see that nib. It is super fine. So this would be great for hatching, cross hatching. Really super fine nib. And then the Feud Hard, and there is a Feud Medium that's also new, has the same nib as the Tombow Furunosuke brush pen, which means that you can, with the hard one, have control over your light up strokes and your hard down strokes. So it really is a phenomenal pen. I am gonna tell you again that these do not bleed through your Bible. It is part of the reason why I love the Faber-Castell range so much, is that these specific India Pit Artist pens do not bleed through your Bible. I also wanted to show you that they've got a little guide on here telling you what the nib sizes are. So the 1.5, obviously the chisel nib, the big brush, or it's a brush nib. So what makes the brush nib different from the Feud, if I can show you, is that right there. So the one has a very long brush type nib, and the other one has that Feud, which, by the way, I looked up what Feud means. It means ink brush, so, or brush ink. There you go. So then that set also has a smaller brother in a 6 set, which then do not include the the brush and the Feud pen, but it does include the others, and it also has the XS, which is the 0.1. So lots of fun there that you can explore in their new lettering sets. Pit Artist pens are right up there with gelatos in favorites. Likewise, they have these new color sets that assist with kind of building specifics. Like this one would be your skin tone, kind of shadowy, sepia kind of colored drawings. But what I like is that it also then includes the medium of the colors that I really like. So love these colors, shading, sepia, and then the blues are my favorite, like all-time favorite. And then this has as well, the specific one is like a winterlude, has all the pretty winter colors. I don't actually think I have this color. It's really pretty. And then the white brush is always a plus. And then this is the blues, and gives you that kind of blue instead of sepia hues that you can use. That's funny. Anyways, so there's that. And then, of course, let's sit down for this one, because I have a feeling I may have to play a little with this one. So, excuse me. Let me grab it. If you don't know what a stamping tool is, it's pretty much one of those cannot be without one. Used my previous one until the hinges actually broke, and I kind of kept them together with paper clips. But yeah, so this is a stamping tool. You can put your stamps on to this side, and then it stamps on this side. But first, let me show you what the new product is by Faber-Castell. They are the gorgeous dual tip markers, so dual markers, Goldfaber Aqua dual markers. They have a brush on the one side, and then they have a fine tip on the other side. So the detail that you get with this guy is really actually kind of phenomenal, and I want to show you what I mean by that. These do work best on a hot press watercolor paper. So this is a hot press 300 GSM watercolor paper by Prime Art. So far, for my testing purposes, this was the best with these dual markers. The cold press watercolor paper has got a grit. So you will actually, and if I know where I put mine, you will actually feel the difference with these. And I don't know where I put it for the life of me. Oh, hold on. So this is a cold pressed, and you can actually see the texture. Now this texture means that for watercolor it bleeds better, which is great, but because you're working with a marker and the marker has a nib that can fray on this rough texture, plus it doesn't allow for blendability because the ink that you put down, the watercolor ink that you put down, won't bleed as it will on the soft, very smooth, and you can see the difference there, hot press watercolor paper. So that's one difference. Let's have a look at some more goodies. What is really great about these markers is that you can use them in various ways. You can, let me just get another block here. You can do some ombre effects. I just scribble my red onto any non-porous surface. I am going to go in directly with my yellow, pick up that color, and then I can do an ombre effect. And the great thing is that the color kind of, because it is a watercolor marker, it bleeds out, so your tip is restored to its initial kind of color once you let it run out, and you have this wonderful ombre kind of effect. So by run out, I mean I'm literally just going to run it out until I have my yellow color again. So like I said, the blendability on the hot pressed is absolutely beautiful. You can see how yummy these colors move once I add water to it. So this is just a normal aqua brush, adding water to it, and it moves gorgeously. I do want to also show you stamping with these is one of my kind of all-time favorite effects, and I've got this kind of coronation stamp here by Fab-Scrap's old stamp that I've got, and I'm just scribbling directly onto my surface here, and I am stamping it down. Looks like a hot mess until it isn't. Taking my color, and of course because it's watercolor, I can literally go in straight over this without any worry there that the colors will contaminate, because it will just run out. And I'm going to slightly offset the colors there, and then take my watercolor mark or my watercolor brush and kind of blend and bleed it in. Now if I do lose detail on this, I can always add the detail back in by taking the fine tip nib to go back in. But before I do that, I'm going to let that just dry a little bit. I'm going to work on my stem here. Again, just going to add the color directly over the photopolymer stamp. I might smudge it a little bit because it's wet on the top, and that's fine. So even the kind of mess makes it beautiful. If I then want color or some bleed in there, I can add some bleed. And like I said, instantly it looks like I am just a world famous artist with my pseudo watercolor painting over there. And then that you can do on pretty much anything and everything. I'm going to let that sit just a minute while I take a piece of this watercolor paper. It is quite thick, like I said, 300 GSM. And I'm going to cut. You can already see how beautifully the colors just move with an aqua brush and the hot press watercolor paper. I'm going to put that aside. Desk is too full. Okay, so let's have a look at how this guy works. Stamping tool, these you can get at La Rochelle Crafts. I'm going to just put this away. Take another Fab-Scrap stamp, obviously coffee stamp, because you know it's coffee. And I'm gonna just find this cute little scenery that you can now build with your stamps and your watercolor markers. The reason why I'm going to use a stamping tool is because the stamping tool allows me to go into the same place multiple times. So I'm going to fix my paper using these magnets that I've just put masking tape over because I didn't have washi with me when I did it. And I'm going to say I want it kind of there. Pick it up with this side of my stamping tool, which then picks up the stamp. Now this means that my paper is secure in one place, my stamp is secure in one place. I can go in over and over again using my markers, and I can bring a little bit of color. Let's start with the light. I do want to caution you, if you buy these markers, be careful with your fine tip. It has a little ridge on the inside. If you put the cap on skew, it will damage that nib after multiple times. So make sure you put the cap on straight. I'm going to go into my door here. It is obviously the first time that I've used this stamp. So sometimes it does not actually kind of do perfect stamps. Go over onto that. Okay, I want to see a kind of template there. Let's get some green going on these bushes. There are bricks in there too, but we'll fix that in a minute. So I can stamp my bushes. Let us give her a pretty purple hat. So I can now literally take any scenery and build it in that way. Let's say a light pink kind of shirt here. And without doing too much, I can now have this image, and it looks like I drew it myself, which needless to say I did not, but I have all of the joy of playing like that. Table we can build in color again. And so forth and so on and so more. Let's see if there's another green that we can add some different kind of, and again, even if it does contaminate into different colors, or it gets different colors on your actual nib, doesn't matter, because you have that watercolor effect or watercolor on your brush, so it just bleeds out. Now if I miss detail, or I use the wrong color, or whatever the situation may be, I can just go in and add some more with my actual detail of the marker. Oh, I didn't get her chair. Okay, so let's get her chair there. There are some bricks out here that we can also get, and you'll see that when the green and the brown kind of bleeds into one another, it brings that whole different kind of effect to it. Now if I want to add, or if I want to bleed this, I would use, or I would recommend, when blending this, I would recommend you use a fine tip brush. So this is then a size 2 brush. I'm gonna just put it in my water, and I'm gonna take off the excess water just like that, and then start blending or drawing out the color. So you can see how long after I've stamped this, the color is kind of still movable. And I'm just going to kind of wet it to give it that movement, but not soaking wet so that I can't control it. If I then say, for instance, like here, completely lose detail, I'm not too stressed because I can go back in and add the detail, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that while it dries. I'm going to just give some color and movement to her clothes here. Give some to her hat. Add some more to the bushes here. Really just playing. Not paying too much attention, just drawing out the color that I've put down. My brush is a little frayed, has been used, well used. And you can then see how kind of the brown, which is Venetian red, actually has some red tones into it, and I do believe that this one came from the skin tones range. These brush markers come in various sets, 12, 24, 12, 18 and 24, and then 6s that have got specifics, so like a lettering one, a floral drawing one, a skin tones one, a Tuscany one, which is one of my favorites, and which is kind of why I chose this stamp here. So if I feel now, looking at this semi-dry, that I've lost too much detail in that bush there, I can simply go back, add the color on top of my stamp, and then go back in and stamp the detail with this still in place. Are you as excited as I am about it? Because I really love it. It's super fun to play with, and I can't wait to show you even more. Has a little bit of everything for absolutely everybody. Let me show you what I mean with putting color back and detail back as well. With this one that has now dried, I can now come in and kind of just draw with my fine liner the kind of edges and ridges that I want on this to kind of make it look like that carnation again. And I can do that with both my colors. I'm just dotting so that it kind of flows. It would have been a little bit better had I done it when it was still very wet. That would have just flown in there. And I'm actually going to just add, using this beautiful green, and like I said, that nib giving you that extra control and that extra kind of detail that you maybe didn't have. And then if I need to wet it again, I can go in with that, can activate that, so it does have some extra movement. as needed for my carnation. Love it. So go get your new goodies. They are beautiful products, all of these. I do want to warn you that these, because of their juiciness, sheer juiciness, will bleed through your Bible, and they won't move as easily on your Bible because your paper is a porous paper. So you need kind of this hot pressed that's got a smooth finish to it, so that your color can kind of sit on top and be able to be moved afterwards. So yes, just look at that carnation. Isn't it gorgeous? I think so. So you want to see an ombre with the kind of pink and purple? We can do that. I just want to turn it around. I'm going to turn it around, because right now I can't find any of the things I'm looking for. That's the thing with kind of impromptu lives. So I'm going to scribble my darker color onto my little block. I'm going to pick it up with my pink, and I'm going to run it out. And then to just run it out, I can, like I said, just clean it on a piece of paper. And for this, cleaning on a piece of paper, it doesn't have to be the hot press, so you don't have to waste your hot press, but you can do so much with it still. So yes, you then want to add a watercolor pool to this. You can even do that. Smooth out your edges there. Give it that watercolor bleed. Lift some color there. I love it. I love it. It's so pretty. Okay, that then is that. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.